This is Richard at Street and Circuit. This is a video showing you how you tune your engine with an AFC NEO. Before we get into this video, the first thing that you're going to need is a wideband lambda sensor, and preferably a wideband lambda sensor that's got a data logging function on it. You need to know where your AFRs are. Assuming you've got a wideband lambda sensor, this is how we do the tuning. So this is a data log from a wideband lambda sensor. This incidentally is Logworks. You can use this with most aftermarket data logging equipment. It's a very good program. And the process is very simple. You find the cells that you want to change in your data log, and then you find the exact same cells in your AFC NEO map, and you make the changes. So for example, in this data log here, we've got 5,294 RPM, full throttle. It's at 14.5 AFR. Now let's presume we want to make that 13.5, i.e. we want to make it a bit richer. We go to the exact same spot in the Apexi AFC NEO map and we add fuel to that same cell. And that's it. That is how you tune the AFC NEO. You get your data log, you find all the cells that you want to change, you note down what change you want to make in each cell, and then you go back to your AFC NEO, you find all those cells and you make the changes that you've written down. And when you've done that, you go out on the road, you make another data log to see what the effect of those changes were. You come back to your computer, you look at the data logs and you adjust again based on the effects of your previous changes. And you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you've got the map where you want it. And that is basically how you tune an AFC NEO. It's a very, very simple process when you've got the right equipment. So this is how you do it from the AFR, from the data logs. Let's go and have a look in an Apexi AFC NEO and we'll see how we do the adjustments on the AFC NEO itself.
Okay, so this is the AFC NEO. This is the A map that you get. This is what Apexi calls it, the A map. So this is where you plus or minus the signal coming out of the MAF sensor. When you go minus, you reduce the amount of sensor signal going to the ECU, which reduces fuel. And if you go plus, or you increase the number, you increase the signal that's going to the ECU, which makes the ECU think there's more air entering the engine, which increases fuel. So along the top here we've got RPM. I think we have, how many steps do we have? We have 16 steps for RPM. You should set the top one at your maximum RPM and the minimum, the first one just below idle. And then you have high throttle and low throttle on the left. Personally, I set the low throttle at 20% and the high throttle at 70%. But you can set them anywhere you want. You want to get a good range for these two figures, so the high and low throttle. You don't want them at 30 and 40, for example. So like we were saying with the Innovate, you find the cell that you want to change. You come to the AFC NEO and you make the changes in the same cell here. So if we go to like 5,400 RPM, and we want to increase the fueling, we come to the same cell in the Apexi AFC NEO, and we go to full throttle, high throttle position, and we make the number more minus if we want to take away fuel, and we increase the number if we want to add fuel. You can see here that the numbers don't exactly line up. So say we've got a number 5,314 RPM. You can see that's closer to 5250, so you do the modifications to the 5250 map. And then this will extrapolate the difference between the two values. It will join them together. And that is how you do the mapping. Go to the, you get your data log, you find the map that you want, find the cell that you want to change, you come to your AFC NEO, you find the closest corresponding cell in your map, and you make your changes by adding fuel or reducing fuel. So that's how you do the map. One other very good feature with the Apexi AFC NEO, which sometimes you don't even see on higher end piggyback ECUs, for example, is VT Unmatch. So if you go here, you can do an extra map specifically for when the cams kick in. So when the AFC, this is the AFC picture, is in high position, and the ECU thinks the cams are in low position, you can do your own map here by adding or subtracting fuel. Generally in this position you'll be adding fuel. And likewise, if you've got if your car's ECU controls VTEC, VVL, VVTi, whatever the case may be from the factory, you've also got this feature here. When the AFC says there's no high cam, but the ECU thinks the high cam is activated, you can add or subtract fuel here. In this particular case, the ECU does not have the VVL control, so we're only ever going to be interested in the green column, because the ECU is never going to think that the engine has got the high cam engaged. And that's basically it. Like as I said in the first part, we are just going back and forth, analysing the data logs, coming back to the AFC, making the changes in the same cells, making another data log to analyse the changes that we just made, and then doing more changes to the AFC NEO until we get the map where we want it. And that is basically how you do it. Very straightforward process. Probably maybe a bit time consuming. If you're going to do this on the road, it's probably going to take you a few hours, I would imagine, especially if you want to get the low throttle positions sorted out, the part throttle conditions. But this is how you do it. It's an excellent product, and if you like, I can just show you where you set the throttle points. Click here, and this is where you set what percentage of throttle you want to count as low and what percentage of throttle you want to count as high. This is the VT control. This is where you can set where the AFC NEO triggers the bigger cams. So you've got low, high. So in this particular case, we're switching the cams on at 4,800, switching them off at 4,600, and they also at 4,800 RPM. The throttle position also has to be 86% or more pressed for the cams to come in. This is an excellent product. I've had this particular one for many years. It's been abused. It's been thrown around in the glove box, and it's still working perfectly. There's actually a thing here where you can change the colors on the... Oh, here we go. We can change the colors. So how do we do this? You can do it to moss green. Okay, so this is the display that we can change here. You can see that it's changing the color of the background. Let's go for sky. And then we can change the color of the keys to blue, magenta, red, orange, green. So you'll be setting these colors if you've got the Apexi AFC mounted on the dashboard and you want it to be as close as possible to the dashboard colors themselves. So you can see here it's going through the colors, and now it's stopped on green. And then you've got the brightness, lamp on, lamp off if you're connecting it to the illumination cable, which this one is not. You've got angle, so you can have it this way or this way. Screensaver. I don't know. Let's put it screensaver on after 30 seconds. Okay. And that's it. So that you can customize this at display also. What else do you get here? Sensor check, initialize. You don't want to mess with these two. Definitely not. This is your AFC NEO. Like I said, it's a very good product. There's actually a new version out now, which looks quite a bit nicer than this one actually. I expect they've done something with the screen to make that even a bit nicer. But a very good product. Very simple to wire in. It's got a lot of features, especially that cam feature is very important. And it's very easy to tune, like I said, when you've got the right tools. So if you were wondering how to tune an Apexi AFC NEO, that's how you do it. If you were wondering what features it's got, this video hopefully has shown you the main features that it has. And if you're interested, this is what one of the screensavers looks like. So hopefully you found the video informative. If you did, thumb up the video. If you didn't, thumb it down. and please subscribe to the Street and Circuit YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. As a side note, the AFC NEO, I'm having to redo this map because it was on, I forgot I'd left it on the passenger seat. I'd put some shopping from the supermarket on the passenger seat which had pushed the buttons on the AFC NEO, and then I'd started the engine, and that puts it into the demo mode. And the only way I could see to get out of the demo mode, like out of the demo menu if you like, was to reset the AFC, so I lost the map.